Welcome to DC.
And here it comes. Swing and a miss. And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Dagger! It's 1974. The Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions.
Don't like that. I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
Despite all this, despite the churn, my approval ratings keep going up.
We are ready to give our 500% support back to this franchise, back to this city, back to this team after Snyder leaves. And then this is the poo-poo you put on the field.
For the very first time, the Washington Mystics are WNBA champions.
The Washington Commanders select Jaden Daniels.
I'm going to support fake teams that can't ruin my life.
Did you call bank? I call game.
Thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Well, boys, the show must go on. Episode, I don't know, honestly, because I forgot to check, but it feels like 550, so we'll go with that for today. Obviously, that's not the actual number, but we are officially into March Madness / March Sadness, and that's actually where I want to start, boys. Andy, thank you for making time. FP, it's always good to see you too, my friend. It's been 3 days. The brackets officially. Yeah, see, this. I know I'm going to be pissed the entire show. Andy's been driving me crazy with fill your bracket. This is what I want to say about stupid brackets and bracketology and all of this nonsense. I'm out on March Madness. Okay, I'm done with March Madness. I have less than 0% interest in it. I paid the $20 to enter the thing, just honestly, so Andy would just leave me alone because I don't know anything about any of these stupid teams. Nobody cares about college basketball except like the 4 people that talk about it for a living. It's over. Like, I'm sorry. March Sadness for me, like, this is it. This is the first month of the calendar year where there's no football. And if we're being honest with ourselves, as bad as Thursday night football is, give me a Thursday night game that starts at 1:00 in the morning being played in Croatia or in Zimbabwe. I don't care. I would watch that on a loop before tuning into, directional Kentucky versus whoever. And you're going to try to convince me that everybody cares about the one and dones. Andy, I'm out. You can tell me I'm wrong. I'm 100% out.
It's not for everybody, Joe. It's
not for me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get at. It's for everybody except you. No, March Madness is one of the best times of the year. I don't want to try to convince you. I'm not a college, diehard sports fan. Like, I'll watch it when it's like a big rivalry and, the two teams are actually good, like an old school Duke UNC matchup. You know what I mean? But March Madness is exactly that. You have a mid-major school with not much visibility going with one superstar going up against, an SEC powerhouse.
I mean, everybody loves the Cinderella story, Joe. Everyone gets swept up in it.
Who's the Cinderella? It's a tournament, Joe. It's a tournament. Like brackets. It's like any kind of tournament structure. It's fantastic.
Every sport has a tournament structure. Literally every sport has it. But for this 2 weeks, everybody's like, I gotta take off of work. I gotta watch, Kentucky play Andy State University or whatever. You know which school I'm fascinated by, and this is a true story because I did exactly 30 seconds of research when doing my brackets. Grand Canyon University. Are you familiar with Grand Canyon University?
No,
They literally just started like a school 5 minutes ago. The guy that's coaching them, Bryce Drew, used to just shoot threes from, before Steph Curry made it sexy. He was the guy, original like 3 launcher guy. And that's it. Like, okay, they're my pick. And Maryland, because they're a local school, whatever. I don't care. It's a bunch of teams nobody knows. I think for me, and maybe
it's fun.
Maybe I'm anti-fun. FP, for me, the thing for me is I can remember like really being excited about March Madness when I could recognize the studs, right? When it was like 3 juniors versus these guys and everybody's playing, like there was an element of pride. And we always talk about like,
so we're going to talk about NIL and one and dones.
Well, I mean, you have to, right? Like I can still vividly remember like these UNC teams that had Antoine Jameson, and whatever that point guard was, and Vince Carter and Rasheed Wallace. Like these were effectively super teams by comparison.
Yeah, but I think you're just kind of dating yourself. I think you're just too old.
Oh my
to
God.
know who the current college kids are. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Andy. You're the expert here, but like, there's a couple teams out there with a lot of like 4-year seniors. They've been on the squad for a while, and that's why
Grand Canyon University.
But I'm saying that's why some of these teams. That's why the Maryland story is huge. The VCU story is huge, is because you've had a core of this roster for so long that's been in a tournament, trying to get to a tournament, heartbreak through a tournament, and then they just go over and over and over again, try to get in it. So if you're in the college basketball world, there are names that you can recognize, and there is repetition from season to season and March Madness to March Madness. And I mean, I'm not a big college basketball guy, but I mean, and I probably would agree with you a lot more if we didn't have VCU and Maryland and some of these other closer to home teams have a real shot at winning this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I
Very
get
exciting for that purpose.
I get that. My sister is a Terp, and she was all into the Big Ten tournament and this, but I don't know. They just belong in the ACC. Maybe what I need is for the conference.
It sounds
model.
like you need like 1998 to 2000.
I need someone to explain it to me, okay? And you know what I don't need? I don't need to listen to everyone tell me about their bracket. I don't care about anyone's bracket.
No, I'll agree with that one. I spent 15 seconds filling out the bracket.
Yeah, you know what? I went chalk all the way across, and I hope to win everybody's money in the pool, with the exception of Grand Canyon. I got them, I think, going into the.
I went Virginia heartbreak. I got both teams to the Elite Eight and then heartbreak.
Yeah, but like what I realized is people don't actually care about my bracket. They just want me to ask them about their bracket, and I don't care about their bracket.
Same thing with fantasy football.
Exactly,
Nobody cares about your fantasy team.
Exactly correct. Yes.
Look, with very little exciting sports in the middle of March, besides hockey, this is exciting for sports fans. It's something to watch. It doesn't matter if you know.
It's because you're betting.
It depends on who you ask. Stevie's out there with pitchers and catchers. And we're talking baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
Preseason baseball, get out of here. Nobody's watching preseason baseball over March Madness.
I would rather watch the Savannah Bananas personally.
Formula One started. I'm watching Formula One. I watched from midnight to 2 a.m.
God. Formula, we're into We're going to do F1 shows now.
No, Joe. Let me
tell
you.
Do you drive around your Camry with your driving gloves?
Joe, listen. If you watch the Netflix series Drive to Survive, hold on. If you watched that, I'm not telling you to watch it. I'm saying if you watched it,
okay,
your appreciation for F1 would mirror your standalone appreciation for Premier League football because of the inside storylines, drama, player crossover, all of that.
I can appreciate that.
So that is my Premier League. It is that amazing. And you have to realize, as big as Premier League is, Formula One is just as big.
Bigger. You could argue bigger because well, maybe not bigger, but it's an international sport.
Yeah. And it's because of all of those storylines that drew you into Premier League. It's what's drawing people into Formula One.
And I WWE, Joe.
That may be a better. Okay, so like I mean, you know how I feel about the WWE. I'm one of the people that still, I can't sit down and watch like Raw in its entirety, but like after we're done tonight, I'll especially now that it's on Netflix and you can. I don't know if you guys do this, but when you watch stuff on Netflix on a tablet or a phone, do you know that you can speed it up? I recently discovered this.
Yeah.
I'll never watch Netflix.
I know you can do it on YouTube, but I didn't.
No. On Netflix, if you got like an iPad or if you're watching Netflix on anything that's not your TV, you could speed it up, which is amazing because I can watch a 2-hour Raw episode or whatever. I mean, obviously there's limited commercials. I can get through it in about like an hour 15, which is great. So I didn't know about this, but like with shows, like recently I was watching, the wife and I were watching 0 Day, which was really overhyped and it's actually pretty terrible in my opinion. But regardless, we were able to go 1.25 and all the talking scenes that were not applicable to the storyline, it was 2.0, just boom, 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 boom with the audio and kind of keep it moving. Anyway, I digress. But with regards to March Madness, obviously the tournament, the play-in, I believe is Wednesday. Or is it still play-ins? Is it like 68 teams?
There is plans. I didn't look at the schedule. I think it's like tomorrow, honestly, or maybe Wednesday.
Yeah. Obviously, the brackets. It takes me back to a simpler time, right? And I know FP, you called me old, and I understand, but like I very much remember printing out my
Paper brackets, yeah.
And making 2 copies and submitting one to the fake bookie that would that was running the school pool. And then we had our own, and we would go sit at Bennigan's or Ruby Tuesday or Glory Days or whatever, and just watch these games all day long. And I also remember a time where you couldn't watch every game the way you can now. Like, I think maybe that was part of it too. Like, there was something really unique about, effectively 12 hours of live sports in the middle of the day, whereas now,
No, that's how it is. But they do a really good job staggering it so that one game starts, and then when it's halftime for the first game, the next game starts, and then it kind of follows that cascading effect. You can quad box, octet box, whatever, octobox, and you can watch all of them.
That could bring Joe into. Joe loves any reason to.
It's fantastic.
I do enjoy that. Yeah. I mean, that was the reason.
And the way that they structured it is intelligent. It's amazing. It's literally when
CBS
one first half ends, the next one starts.
Yeah. CBS claims that they had nothing to do with scheduling or matchups, and then it's ratings in the end, right? It's ratings in the end. But I appreciate that it's live sport and everybody gets excited about it, and that part is great. What I don't appreciate, though, is the incessant, like, you have to join my pool, and everybody has their own pool. Like, I don't want to join a million pools. Like, I already did my bracket one time, and then is it ESPN or is it Yahoo? And then everyone, I don't do Yahoo. I do CBS Sports. I'm like, I don't care about any of this.
Talking like a true commissioner, Joe. Commissioner.
I will play wherever it is easiest for me to complete my bracket. You sent me the link on, I think it was, ours is on Yahoo. Anybody that wants to join our show league, it's actually posted on our X account. You can go join. And then send $20. But he's the bookie for this one. But that's it for me on this topic. Like, I enjoy the live sport action. I care about Maryland because it's a local team. My sister, a lot of us have friends obviously with ties there. Obviously Mason and like the local schools. It's all good. Like, it's all good. I just don't want to hear about any bracket.
I know nothing about women's basketball, but there's some pretty big drama on the women's side of things with UConn. I don't even know her name. USC, there's some.
Are you betting? Be honest. Are you betting women's college basketball?
My betting days are over, but I did make a women's bracket.
You promise you're done betting?
I'm done betting. My betting days are behind me.
Only
cashed out everything.
Retired.
I'm retired.
FP, are you done too?
I'm done. No, FP's in there, baby.
I'm in there, but the balance stays kind of low until NHL playoffs or NFL.
Something you know more about, right? Because otherwise,
you guys know my money making scheme, right? Is you watch the first drive of any NFL game, you see kind of what the scripted plays are, and then you have a pretty good chance at guessing who first TD is, and then your $5 brings you in $200. You play
your
that for
first
the season.
TD move is impressive every week when you post your first, especially on the Thursday games, which are poop, and you're out here, like, I got this guy and it hits. Like, yeah, I'm happy for you. Like,
Will Dissly first TD and you get $300.
Yes, I
great.
know. Well, look, let's switch to the NFL. There's a couple of things I want to talk about on the NFL side, and we'll just kind of keep it moving here. The biggest news in DC, obviously, the Skins say goodbye to Fowler. I mean, I think this was coming. Any surprise that he goes back to Dallas?
The surprise is that he kind of shit all over Dallas when he left.
Sure, yeah,
to come here.
It's shades of Zeke, right? I mean, it's
a little bit, yeah. I'm totally okay not having him on the team. If you're gonna drama, bitch, and whine, post Instagram tweets and all this whatever, just go away. I said it in the group chat. He is the reason why Saquon broke that touchdown run in the NFC Championship game on the first. Like, if you watch that replay,
I think you're being a little unfair. Saquon
he did a shitty spin move and he took out Bobby Wagner and Jonathan Allen. Like, he just wiped out the whole defense.
Okay.
I'm okay with him going.
Andy, do you care? Do you care that he moved on or moved back?
I care very little. I did think he brought some bad boy attitude to the defense, which kind of does make some kind of an impact. His physicality was good, but I think it's replaceable. I'm not mad he's gone. I think he is a doofus. For going public with whatever offer or saying, I'm disappointed or disgusted, whatever he said.
Doofus.
Once you start blabbing, once you
start doing that, like,
Yeah.
I'm done. So go ahead, go back, leave.
I
It's
haven't
fine.
heard doofus in forever. It's fantastic work.
It's been a while. But FP, your boy Noah's coming back. This is an interesting one because the wide receiver room is extremely crowded now. And I don't hate this, but I also don't fully understand it because Noah Brown to me today equals less exposure, less opportunity for Luke McCaffrey. Am I wrong?
No, I don't. First, I don't agree that the wide receiver room is overcrowded at all. Terry, Debo, Noah Brown, Luke, and then what's his face? The practice squad guy. You really don't have that much. If you kept OZ, yeah, you're overcrowded. But OZ's gone.
I mean, but
you might bring back Crowder. You probably don't.
Okay, but you have other pass catchers that are should get the ball or should get looks, right? All three tight ends are coming back. It just feels crowded to me, right? I think you've got two.
Well, you have to see it as like Noah Brown is your wide receiver 2 positionally. Hold up, positionally.
Oh, God.
Because Diami has replaced OZ as your slot utility guy. So X's and O's. Noah Brown is
gone.
No. Huh?
Said Diami. Diami's gone.
Debo replaced OZ as your utility guy. So X's and O's playbook. Noah Brown is your second receiver.
We didn't expect much out of him. He was a late add to the room to begin the season last year. I think he was coming right, maybe 2 weeks before the season started.
Yeah,
he was cut and signed. But he had a good season.
He was fantastic.
Remove the Maryland Miracle catch. He was a very serviceable wide receiver, right? He gave them something they didn't have, which was a medium to big sized body who could catch the ball and get down. I don't recall him fumbling at all. He was fine.
Pretty sure-handed.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. He's a smart wide receiver in a sense where he meshed well with Jaden, right? If the play broke down and Jaden was scrambling, he knew where to go. He knew how to get open. He knew when to stop. He knew when to keep going. He knew how to switch routes. I feel like him and Jaden meshed well. And Noah was, I think at some point during the season, it felt like Noah was his number one guy, even though obviously Terry is the number one on the team. But it felt like Jaden and Noah had, that QB wide receiver one connection. So I'm glad he's back. I think he brings more to the team than just another body, another wide receiver. I think he brings kind of a safety blanket to, besides the tight ends from the wide receiver room. I think Noah's Jaden's safety blanket, just from how they played last year.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to this move, right? I think if you're comparing, the draft versus a known commodity in Noah Brown that you're bringing back, I don't know what the terms of his deal were, but I'm assuming it was a friendly, team friendly deal. Yeah, fine. He's a known commodity. He's also got that jumbo build where you could use him in double tight end sets. I'm totally fine with it. I'm curious to see what this team looks like though, and to FP, to your point, how they deploy their receivers. Do you think we will see 3 or 4 wide receiver sets? We saw a lot of them last season because I think you've got to spread that defense out and look for those mismatches or somebody to get open in a pocket somewhere. With Terry and Debo, if you put them on the same side,
they won't be.
But if you did, you could easily then you put Noah or even Luke or run one of the tight ends into the flat the opposite way. There will be space.
Yeah. Well,
have to zero in on that side.
A lot of it will come down to how Cliff decides to run this offense, and hopefully we don't get into season 2 of Terry on the right versus Terry on the left, and a lot of it is based off positions, right? But Terry is typically your Z receiver, right? So opposite of the play motion, right? Noah will be your X receiver. So if your play is going to the left, he's lined up on the left. And then Debo will be your Y receiver, closer into the tight ends, does all the magic in the middle of the field. With Cliff, the magic is all of the motions that he does. So basically what you would see is based on where Terry or Noah are lined up, that's where the magic of Debo comes in, because if you do some fake motion or a jet sweep or whatever, the same stuff we used to do with OZ a lot, that jet sweep or even Crowder a little bit, that's where it gets a lot more confusing, especially when you introduce other wrinkles like an Eckler, a B-Rob out of the back, or an Ertz coming in over the middle or slanting out. So there's a lot of interesting things you can do. Basically, you have the same offense as last year, but slightly elevated play. Nobody's going to say that Debo isn't better than OZ. Nobody isn't going to say that Noah Brown isn't at least a push over Diami or a push with
I'm gonna miss
Luke.
Diami. I'm gonna
you'll miss Diami because he had that breakout speed, but for the most part, your offense is the same, if not slightly better, based on the magic of Debo.
I get your point too, Joe. Like I get your point because your concern is Luke, right? Like we drafted Luke, and you want to know how he's going to.
He's got promise. I think
how he's going to plug in.
You've got to like. I can look up his stats real quick here, but his second season should be closer to like 50 catches, right? Like I want to see some progression and growth from him because he showed promise. I mean,
I think he was one of the better receivers at creating separation on his routes last year,
but with limited looks, right? And this is the thing. You were force feeding, Terry most of the time, and now with Debo, like everyone has to eat, right? So my concern is that Luke gets pushed so far down that pecking order that there aren't that many calls for him, game to game or week to week. You end up in a situation where you've got a guy that has so much potential, but it's not actualized because you got to take care of Terry, you got to take care of Debo, you got to see what Senate can or can't do. You've got to feed Ertz.
I mean, compare it to last year, right? Last year, Luke was under the pecking order of Terry, OZ, Diami, Noah Brown, Crowder, even.
Sure, at times.
So now Luke is he moved up to 5 is how you could view it.
Well,
depending on who you draft.
But I would like to see him at 3, right? I would like to see him on the field.
He's not good enough to be 3.
Well, let's see. Okay. I mean, are you expecting the Skins to make any more? I don't think there's any free agents left for them to bring back at this point. Is there?
To bring back? Jameson Crowder is probably the only one worth mentioning.
No, but I think at this point we're all systems go for the draft. I think they are done signing free agents at this point. Are they? Maybe not.
There's a big D end out there that hasn't gotten signed, and the Bengals might not be able to afford him.
Well, the Bengals, I mean, that's the next topic on the rundown here. I don't think the Bengals can afford anybody after
that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I don't really know how to define this except to say it's very un-Bengali what they have done here. Like, they have committed a ridiculous amount of money to 3 players that play 2 positions, both on the offensive side of the ball. I understand this. If you're Burrow, you go to the front office and say, we can't win without both. And like, he's going to fight for his guys. I get it. But if you're running that team, I don't think you can do this and expect to, I mean, they start out 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, or 1-4, or whatever it is every year. Every year. Now, give them credit. Down the stretch last year, they were them and the Broncos, 2 teams like really nobody wanted to see, but really the Bengals, if they had made the playoffs, they could have done some damage. I just don't know how you do this with this much money tied up in Burrow, Chase, and Higgins. I think Higgins, we can debate whether Higgins is worth the money or not. I think the answer is yes, but not in this application where he's playing clearly behind Chase, who's absolutely worth the money.
He proved it last season that when he was on the field, he was a difference maker in those games, and it was a lot easier for the Bengals to get that W. But yeah, is he worth that much money? I don't know where I wonder where he ranks in all of wide receivers, but is he worth that much money? I don't know.
They're not just paying him like a number 1. They're paying him elite wide receiver number 1 money, right? So I look at them and say, this is an unfair comparison. Are Chase and Higgins $50 million better than McLaurin and Debo?
I think absolutely not.
Right.
But the what that does is it brings up the question of, oh shit, we should lock up Terry immediately before he can hold us hostage the way.
And
Chase
it's
did.
fair, but just they are clearly the top receiving duo in the league.
I
Yes.
would say they're the strongest 1-2. Yeah, strongest one.
Who else is on that list? I think the Commanders belong on that.
Depends on what Debo you get.
Sure.
Yeah.
Assume you get something better than last year, but not as great as his almost MVP season from 2 or 3 years.
You can't really match anybody up with Justin Jefferson. The Vikings don't really have. Crazy,
they have Addison is really good.
Yeah,
Right?
but is he close to a T. Higgins or a Debo or a Devontae Adams?
I personally
No,
would say
really.
yes. I think Adams and Puka are an interesting
that's a great one too.
Right, and they are free by comparison to what the Bengals just spent. Right, so you're looking at these teams. Like I really struggled with this as I was prepping. Like, how do you quantify the delta? Like dollars. How much more are Higgins and Chase worth playing with Burrow in Cincinnati than any of these other tandems that are not? I mean, they're serviceable and borderline equal.
I'm thinking Metcalf and George Pickens. That for some reason that's what's coming to my mind.
There's still Tyreek Hill and Waddle.
Tyreek Hill and Waddle. There's a lot of good
all of these are a fraction of the cost.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Of what the Bengals are spending.
I was going to agree with you. They sacrificed their foreseeable future because their defense is not going to be good. Offense is going to be just as good as it was. I don't see them getting better just because they paid these guys. It's going to be just like it was.
It's historically the opposite. You get the money, you don't play as hard.
Right, and I think Higgins is he injury prone? Like this, doesn't he get hurt?
He
pretty
missed
often?
a lot of games last year.
There. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not worth money, right? And maybe you pay him that if you're the Giants or if you're the Seahawks or if you're the Cardinals.
But not if you also have.
Not if you already have exactly. Like when Addison comes up, the Vikings to me seem like a very astute front office. I don't think they're going to pay Addison 80% of what they're paying Jefferson. Like they won't. They just won't do that. Right. The Chiefs let Tyreek Hill walk in his prime and said, we'll figure out another way. And they have largely figured out another way. The Dolphins, it's interesting. Like, are there any other of these super tandems? I don't think so. I think we kind of hit on the majority of them, but I just don't see what the Bengals do here. Like you still have to face, your AFC North opponents, which beat you up. You still have a strong strength of schedule because of the way they finished the season. It'll be mid-pack. But do these three guys put you over the top?
No, not at all.
Do they make you better than the Bills?
I would say the Bengals losing Joe Mixon hurt them, right? They need a stronger run game. And if they lose Trey Hendrickson, your sack leader or top 2 sack leader of last season, whatever the final stat was, that's going to destroy your defense that was already so weak, which was the reason you couldn't win, even though you're putting up 35 points a game. So nobody ever questioned the offensive firepower of the Bengals, even though they weren't getting the wins. They were putting up the points. And Burrow had the MVP yards and numbers. But it was all the other pieces that they very clearly are not committing money to that need the help. If they went out and they got this year's version of a Saquon, right?
Oof.
If they did something like that and you pair it up with Jamar Chase, that's huge, right? They're not doing that. I
guess the Eagles belong in that conversation, right? Between AJ and Devontae.
Not at all. But it's not like the Bengals went out and got T. Higgins, right?
Right. Homegrown talent.
This is the exact same Bengals offense from last year. Like they didn't necessarily get better. It's the exact same product that they're going to put on the field.
I think, Andy, it's fair to say that the offense wasn't the problem, right? I mean, they're always improved, but they haven't addressed the issue. And FP just said it. Like, how do you stop Lamar? How do you stop Allen?
Because if you look at the other AFC North teams, they got a little better. The Steelers got way better.
The Steelers,
DK Metcalf and whatever quarterback happens.
Depends on who it depends. No, well, I think it depends because if you're running it back with Russell, which they're not, but I mean the quarterback matters here. If you plug Aaron into that,
it's interesting, right? But Aaron is a weird fit. Like who's going to throw the ball there? Who's the actual? Do they have any quarterbacks on the roster right now?
No.
I mean, Fields is a Jet, and Russ is flirting with the Bengals, or not the Bengals, the Browns, which would be just incredible to see him end up on the same team as.
Well, I mean, like the Browns retained Myles Garrett, and if they'll probably get significantly better at quarterback. And then you look at
I don't know. Hold on.
Look at the Ravens. They bring in D
Jameis
Hop.
Winston didn't play terrible. He played reckless, but he's not terrible.
Reckless is kind of terrible.
Is he worse than Russell Wilson? No.
They also brought Kenny Pickett in, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
But is Russell Wilson higher ceiling than Winston? Yeah.
No. I would rather
higher ceiling.
I'd rather have Winston. He's better. I think he's better with the big throws. I think he's better. I think the team responds more to his leadership style. Every locker room you put him into, they gravitate towards him. I mean, he was making friends on Bourbon Street, covering the Super Bowl, and he gets you much better sound bites.
I'm very confused how we can talk so much about the AFC North, and I really don't have this much to talk about the NFC East.
Oh, NFC East just getting things done. I mean, the Eagles extended Saquon, and they did it very smartly, right? They didn't. Not that
the Eagles also lost. The Eagles lost a lot of pieces and 2 coordinators.
They did.
No,
but
one
coordinator. But I mean, they're still set. I mean,
they have a ridiculous amount of draft picks in the next 2-3 years. First, seconds, thirds. Like,
listen, I love me some Howie Roseman.
So annoying.
But also, there's a lot of revisionist history with Howie Roseman. He definitely was terrible up until he. Like 2020, and then he just hit,
and he's been hitting since. But they have to Andy's point, they've got the draft capital to hit and miss.
Yeah,
as long as they hit some, right, they'll be okay. And it's interesting that they didn't. It's not like they were immediately trying to run it back with the same squad either. Like they're making some smart moves. Extending Saquon is a very smart move. He clearly is the best running back in the league.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Right.
Only the Giants would be so stupid.
Sure, but AJ's contract and Smith's contract, I mean, they're in a good spot offensively. Like they don't need to do much to get to 25 points a game.
Not having possibly not having Dallas Goedert. They let the veteran presence in their secondary go. So all of a sudden you have Blankenship and the other guy as the guys for the entire season. If they get a sophomore slump, that secondary that was shaky, that became solid because of that veteran presence and the rookies, suddenly could become shaky again.
But you expect them to challenge for the NFC East crown, right? I mean, they're
NFC championship crown.
Okay. I mean, who do you right now today? I'm assuming you've got Philly and then DC and then probably Dallas and New York.
Depends on what New York can do with quarterback.
Well, I don't know what they can do at this point. Like who are they?
New York, they're a quarterback away from being competitive.
No,
their defense is solid.
Their defense is solid, and they did a lot of free agent moves to shore it up even more.
They just paid Slayton the money they refused to pay.
I get it.
Yes, that was hilarious.
They're a quarterback away from being competitive. I'm saying it now on the show.
But they could have went out and got Kirk, right? I mean, they could have traded for him or convinced Atlanta.
They should have went for Darnold. That's what they should have done.
Darnold, I don't think
Darnold was never going to go back to New York.
It's the same thing with Rodgers. I don't think he's going there either. Wilson makes more sense there, right? And that would actually be annoying to have to see him twice a season.
Wilson with Malik Neighbors would be terrifying.
Yeah, and then add any.
Wilson's so stupid.
But he's better. He's a huge upgrade over Danny DeVito
and Johnny Carter.
Yeah, whatever. Where'd Jones sign? He signed somewhere this week too.
Indy.
Colts. No.
Yeah, that. Oh yeah, that's right. Because we were talking about it. They on their roster are the actual 2 worst starting quarterbacks last season statistically. Those are their starters.
It's forcing Anthony Richardson to step up or shut up, and they're like, if you can't beat Daniel Jones,
okay,
get the hell off our team.
Let's just take a vote here.
He can't.
Andy, do you disagree? He doesn't have it. The Colts.
He's not it.
He's not it. He's not it. Like he doesn't pass the eyeball test. He doesn't pound the soundbite test. He can't do anything. He checked himself out of a game because he was tired. People forget all this. He's terrible. He's terrible. He's
just gonna check myself out of work because I'm tired.
He's not it. He's not the guy. This is a weird move, and Do you have any feelings on Aaron Rodgers? Like, where does he ultimately land? Minnesota makes the most sense.
Tennessee, you called it. Dark horse Tennessee.
Guys, he's
I don't
not
think he's
going to
the
Tennessee.
league.
Dark horse
Tennessee is going number 1, probably Cam Ward in the draft. Tennessee's
Just
getting
think
their quarterback.
I don't know if any of these quarterbacks this year are worthy of a first-round pick.
I agree with you, but
So
if
if
you have the
can
number
get
1
an
pick,
Aaron Rodgers,
It's
if you can get an Aaron Rodgers and trade back for a massive haul,
Why would Rodgers go play in Tennessee over the Giants or over?
come on.
Why not go to San Francisco?
He's
Like,
all about ayahuasca retreats and peace, and just go to a small market.
California? Isn't he from California?
He is.
Like the thing with Minnesota, I don't see him wanting to face Green Bay twice a season. I just don't.
But that's another thing with Tennessee. That's a cake division.
Okay,
Sure. But why not
realistic
Jacksonville?
is the scenario that he doesn't go
Jacksonville
anywhere?
has T-Law.
How realistic is it he takes the year off?
No. If he takes the year off, he's done.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, like,
I don't think
why isn't San Francisco in the mix here? Like, why isn't San Francisco
because
making
they just sold the entire house so they can afford to pay Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
There's nothing there except George.
guys,
like,
I
half of
also
George
don't
Kittle.
think it's
I was gonna say
all.
Oakland, but Vegas.
It's not all. He doesn't have all the leverage. I don't actually think teams want him. I'm gonna be completely I don't. I don't
That's
think
how
he says, like,
Tennessee can get him for cheap.
I mean,
it's
Tennessee
not like,
needs
go pick.
look at the teams that need a quarterback, right? Tennessee's going to be on the top of that list. Pittsburgh is on that list.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
I mean, I actually think Dallas needs him. I don't think they can move Dak's. They can't obviously move Dak's contract, but you wouldn't go to Miami to play with those two receivers.
Miami would be an interesting fit, actually.
I mean, look, Rodgers he's never going to want to be a backup. So
they've proven that they're standing by Tua through and through.
Yeah, he's not going to go be a backup anymore.
He's like 1 or 2 seasons removed from being in much higher demand when these teams decide all of these guys are not our guy, right? I don't think Miami's
who backs up Tua now? Who did Miami just sign?
Not Rosen.
No,
Mac
they
Jones?
signed some.
Was it Mac Jones?
Might be Mac.
No, he went to San Francisco.
All right.
No, Miami just signed somebody as a clear precaution to Tua. And
Zach
I forget who it
Wilson.
was.
Zach
It
Wilson.
was Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Cleveland can afford. I mean, the thing is, he's not going to go to any of these teams.
Cleveland can't really afford anything.
Well, they can afford him. They can make it work. But like, why would he go there? Right? Like, why would he go cold and bad team? Like,
If you're gonna go to cold and bad team, you go to Pittsburgh that has a history of winning.
not bad. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but there's only so many teams that need a quarterback. He's not going to go to the Patriots, right? Like,
Raiders got their quarterback. Like, everybody's got their quarterback.
Geno stinks.
But again, he's not going to go be a backup anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, the one team. So speaking of teams that got their guy, like, let's talk about the Seahawks here for a second. Trading DK last week, and then adding Darnold, and then this week, how do you feel about that Cup move? I mean, that contract is it's very Cup friendly, right? I'm actually surprised he got that kind of money on the open market.
I feel like this is like old school NFC East, show me your playbook, maneuvers, right? Like Seattle, I don't know. Let's get an ex-Ram, somebody in the division, come show us some of the secrets and, try to spill some of the secret sauce. I don't know. That's what's coming to mind right now, an old school mentality, although I know it's not real. But why else would you pay Cup that much money? Like, why?
Well, I mean, why would you let DK walk?
He's not that far removed from a triple crown.
Yeah, and Sam had a good season, okay, but like, does anyone really buy this team as competing?
I mean, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cup. That's a pretty solid duo.
I mean,
DK Metcalf.
Okay.
DK Metcalf. I mean,
and Tyler Lockett.
We discussed it. Like Tyler Lockett, old. He wasn't doing anything anywhere.
Yeah.
And then DK Metcalf was never really played to how DK Metcalf was supposed to play. He's supposed to play like an AJ Brown, but he never did that. He never played to his size. He would never come back to be helpful to the quarterback.
But do you think that magically changes now that he's a Steeler? I don't think so.
I mean, Tomlin has whatever secret voodoo powers where he can get the most out of a receiver and mask the crazy from the rest of the world, right? With Juju, with Brown, with all of those guys. So
and that's fair.
Tomlin knows how to handle his receivers.
That's fair. But like, what do you make of what the Seahawks have done here, right? Like,
honestly, I actually kind of like it.
Why?
I kind of like it because Darnold was a good quarterback last year.
Yes.
He had good wide receivers. He had Jefferson, Addison. I forget the other guy. There was a third guy who was actually pretty decent too on the Vikings. And if they put the right people, which I think they actually did, Darnold, Smith and Jigba and Cup, like I feel like that's a strong cast. I think Darnold can get them the ball and Cup can be his safety blanket, and the coaching is new.
Are they good enough to win the division? Are they
Who's the
good
running
enough?
back? Kenneth Walker, is he?
Kenneth Walker, and then they have the other guy, Chardonnay, something like that.
Chardonnay,
Yeah.
He's not terrible either.
Are they better than the 49ers?
Yes. Right now, yes.
Are they
I say
better
yes
than
as
the
well.
Cardinals?
Yes. I think they'll fight for it with the Rams.
I don't know if they're better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals were surprisingly.
I don't believe in that quarterback, but
That's what I was going to say.
They were a little feisty last year, but if you get a little bit more out of Kyler, add a few more weapons outside of James Conner, and
I'm with you.
And Marvin Harrison really takes off year 2. I don't know.
Darnold is an upgrade over Geno, right? I mean, I don't think anyone's going to say much about that, but really,
I think so.
No, Geno. I'm actually surprised. Again, I'm surprised that the Raiders traded a 3rd-round pick for.
You don't think Geno could have done what Sam Darnold did on that Vikings team?
No.
No chance.
No.
Really?
No.
I really don't.
Darnold was a good quarterback coming out of college. He was statistically terrible with the Jets, but he had flashes with them. He had flashes with the Panthers. Like everywhere he's been, there's been enough times where you look at him and you're like, he looks like a number 1 guy.
And confidence is a big weapon. This man is coming in super high after last season. I think his confidence is through the roof. And
I think expectations for him in Minnesota, like outside of that locker room, were pretty low. Inside that locker room, very high coming in after Kirk.
It's just funny that Minnesota got rid of him. And I get why they did it, because you want to move on to the future, but they got rid of Sam Darnold, and then they immediately went and did exactly what Sam Darnold needed, which was sign a bunch of stud offensive linemen to protect the quarterback.
Yes.
Like if they just did that and kept Sam Darnold for at least one more year, franchise tag him for one more year.
Who's the starting quarterback in Minnesota right now?
It'll be JJ McCarthy right now.
Yeah.
Pretty much a rookie. He got injured like the first play last year, maybe even in training camp.
But I mean, based off last year's rookie,
do you see Russell or Aaron ending up there?
No.
I mean, Aaron fits.
If you're not going to keep Sam Darnold, or if you're not going to keep Darnold, you're clear cut. We're looking to the future.
Yeah, they're 100% in on McCarthy. 100%. They want no competition, nobody looking over his shoulder, none of that. They're all in on him.
I could see Aaron Rodgers doing something crazy and going to like the Saints.
They can't afford
anyone.
Just give Chase $50 million.
Clearly, there's money somewhere.
What are they doing?
You're giving Chase 50.
It's so much.
Aaron's not playing this year, guys. Aaron's not going to play.
Listen, I'll throw another one out there. Carolina was not a terrible team down the stretch, and they
won't do it.
No, but Bryce Young started turning it around.
Bryce looked better, but we said it on the show. Bryce looked better down the stretch.
The funny thing about this is the reason why there's no answer for Aaron Rodgers is because the Washington football team has a quarterback that they're sticking with in Jaden Daniels. If Jaden Daniels didn't exist, Aaron Rodgers 500% comes to DC. We all celebrate it.
Sure.
And I mean, that's where the void is in his equation right there.
Are you a little surprised with what the Falcons did? Last football topic here, and then we'll switch into Ovi and the Caps. Are you surprised with what the Falcons did with Kirk, basically forcing him to stay?
No. I think it's a safe bet, and it's worth the money because you need more.
He's already complaining about or suggesting he's not going to show up for OTAs or any of the optionals.
Kirk's too good of a guy to to screw the team. I don't think he has it in him to screw the team.
Oh, I think we're about to see his villain arc full swing.
I would love Kirk's villain arc.
We're about to see it right now.
But if you're the Falcons, realistically, like I like the story of Penix, and I think it'll be interesting if he is really good. But you need more film, and he has his durability issues. He still had he played what 2-3 games last year. That's all you got out of him. 2.5 games.
Started the last 4.
4?
Yeah.
Was it 4?
I think so.
No.
Because they were down the stretch. It was like they were 7-7 or something, and then there was.
I would like to see what a full season does to him, and if his body and his knees can hold up to it. And if you have a Kirk already getting paid, and there's no way to not pay him, yeah, make him stay.
Andy, are you in or out on what the Falcons are doing?
I'm 50-50. I get it from a player's perspective, from Kirk's point of view, let me loose, let me go somewhere else. But from a franchise perspective, it does make 100% sense to keep him. But at the end of the day, Kirk really struggled, right? He did not play good
Very
for
much
2/3 of the season. So I'm sure there's a market for him. The guy's
touchdowns for an entire
genius. He's made just as much, if not more, money than Tom
Brady.
Brady.
I was just about to say he has out-earned Tom Brady and
Insane.
has one playoff appearance.
You can't knock a guy for having a great agent.
No, but I mean, hey, listen, that trend started here in Washington when you got back-to-back
tags,
right? Yeah, but to think that he's out-earned Tom Brady in the span of 12 or 13 years or whatever it is, to think that I think he's the last man standing, or him and Russell are the last two from that class, if I'm not mistaken, right? RG3's long gone, Andrew Luck retired. I think Kaepernick was the year before them. But anyway,
and what's his face is now the coach of the Saints.
Kellen Moore. Yep, that's right. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe they hold on to him could they trade him? Some desperate team down the stretch or in the middle of the season.
Why? I mean,
middle of the season is probably the only thing that's going to happen.
If he doesn't show,
if you have Dak going down again in the middle of the season, maybe Jerry goes and does something crazy, right?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right, let's talk caps.
What is there to talk about? Ovi's that much closer, right? I think they're expecting April 6th is for him to hit his.
We got projections. Are we betting on? Are we betting on when it's going to happen now?
April 6th is
they're saying April 6th. No, I didn't actually look at the schedule. I just saw the headline somewhere, and they're expecting Alex to get. I
saw Joe B and Locke are going to be on the call regardless. I mean, that was announced. They're going to move them around and make it. They're going to accommodate the local broadcast crew regardless. But
April 6th is the Islanders. That would be so
fantastic.
So great if it was over the Islanders.
I mean, what's the feeling here? Because local sports media definitely starting to run with the Caps a little bit more. A lot of it is obviously Ovi and the record that's now comfortably within, in sight for this season. We're weeks away from it at this point. But the team's also gearing up for a postseason run here. They are, I'm not going to say they're peaking, but they are clearly playing really well right now. Alexis Brodus, a name I've learned.
There you go.
Went from nothing to almost MVP caliber.
He's having a fantastic season. You're getting a huge return on Pierre-Luc Dubois, which everybody in the entire universe, including all Caps casual fans and pundits, thought it was a terrible move, and you're getting a huge return on him. We're seeing Tom Wilson show more of his captain patch wearing worthiness. Come Ovi's retirement, it's going to become the Tom Wilson captain's patch, and I'll probably definitely buy one of those jerseys. But
you know what's different for me about this season is that in seasons previous, kind of let's say 2, 3, 4 years ago, when it was the Oshie, Wilson, Ovechkin kind of trio, if those three didn't perform, or if two of the three didn't perform to kind of carry the team was going to lose. But this team is very, very well balanced. If Protas isn't on his game, there's 4 other people that can carry the team to victory.
You have good balance through all 4 lines.
Exactly. And I think that is the consistency, the balance, and this it's a really strong team. And if any line is having an off night, any one player, any 2, 3, 4 players, doesn't matter. There is depth.
Hartz deserves a ton of credit. Every time I
hear Coach of the Year. Coach of the year.
Every time I hear local media interviewing him, the point that always kind of is ringing in my ear, he is developing players, right? He's not just coaching like the team as he inherited it or as he's built it.
Mhm.
He's actively coaching and improve. Produce is the best example of it. These players are getting better under his tutelage. I don't remember that happening under any of the previous administrations, including the one that won the cup.
No, they have a great mix of veterans and rookies and playmakers. McMichael, gosh, the other guy's slipping my name. Manji something. That dude, he's really stepping
Mangiapane.
into. Yeah, he's stepping into his role. Like
Everybody,
there's a lot of
yeah,
people who are developing and
yeah.
playing their. Yeah, go ahead, Effie.
No, I mean, you're right. It's just everybody is stepping up and just doing their job, and it's just everybody's saying it is the team chemistry is just off the charts, right? And that's what you need when you get into the playoffs. You can see it across any of the sports, right? When that team chemistry builds, it builds in a way where those wins just kind of come second nature, right? And even Ovi, 8 goals away, should really be 7 goals away because he had an empty netter right there, and he passes it to Protas to get his first hat trick, right? Like it's such a high team chemistry atmosphere that all of the things are just kind of going your way, and then to back it up with solid goaltending, and then the old head in me, like if Oshie and Backy find a way to get healthy in a playoff push coming off long-term IR, I mean, that's just that's like a thing of dreams. Like that's like Disney movie, Netflix documentary worthy. If they come back, Ovi breaks the record, you get a cup, and then they all retire and run off into the sunset together.
There's no chance Oshie or Backstrom come back.
Backstrom is trying. Oshie, I don't think so.
No chance. Oshie's back. I mean, the man can't walk.
Yeah. But Backy actually might be able to return.
No. I don't know if I want Backstrom back.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't know if you want to ruin the chemistry you've built, but just seeing him on the ice lifts everybody's spirits, and then you probably get even more juice out of it.
Can I just tell you one thing I don't want to happen? I don't want Teddy Leonsis tinkering at all with the front office or with this team in any way.
He doesn't. He never bothers the Caps.
I know, but sometimes winning and losing for that matter. Like I'm surprised he hasn't tinkered more with the Wizards, to be honest, too. We could talk about them here, but I just don't want him tinkering with the team. Like
if you put the proper GMs and presidents in place, you don't have to tinker. I don't think he's
never really been a tinkerer.
He's never been big on tinkering. His problem, it was never an issue for the Caps because they had sustained success. His problem was with the Wizards. He was a little too loyal to a fault. He should have tinkered a little bit more when it came to firing some GMs.
It was terrible. It was so bad. So we're tracking early April now. So a couple weeks for Ovi to get.
I'm gonna have to buy tickets. I want to be at that game.
It's one of those. To steal a line from the Nats broadcast team, right? You got to remember where you are when it happens, 100%. Right? Like you've got to know the Wizards.
Is it a home game?
It's home game.
Yeah, that's a home game.
No,
yes.
Is it
the Islanders?
Islanders is home game.
Just looked at it. I might be wrong. Okay, you check. But I want to talk about the Wizards too. I don't know if you boys are watching any of this, but over the last 10, they've won 6 of their last 10. They are very, very much untanking now. So Bilal goes down for the season. Sar just had a 30-point game. They look so promising, Andy. I wish this was happening at the beginning of the season, not at the end of the season. But even a player that I'm not a huge fan of, Jordan Poole, they just are playing so much better. They're responding to the coach who probably won't be the coach next season, Coach Keefe. But 6-4 over the last 10. They are quickly untanking their way into a low lottery pick. Are you watching?
Who have they beaten? Who have they beaten, really?
Come on, they beat the Nuggets twice. They're playing the Blazers tonight.
For some reason, they always beat the Nuggets. I'm impressed that they beat the Pistons.
Listen, they're doing it with a bunch of young guys who are learning how to play both individually and together. It's very impressive what they're doing right now.
I get it. I haven't watched a lot. I've watched highlights. And I was impressed with the Nuggets win. I was impressed with the Detroit win. I still kind of wish they were tanking, but other teams are getting slapped on the wrist now for intentionally tanking and sitting players. But we're doing it the right way. We're playing to win.
It's actually a shame that nobody's watching them because they are.
I started watching them.
I won't say it's fun, but it's enjoyable. Like even if it's on in the background, like you look up, they're not losing by 40, right? They are largely in these games going into the fourth quarter.
I mean, I told you my hot take earlier. They're the next OKC.
I think a lot of stars have to align for that to happen.
They're the next OKC. I mean,
they have a very promising young nucleus between.
Are you telling me between that nucleus
and Bub? They've got some good pieces. I like what's like Smart has brought. I think we've talked about it. Like the pieces they've added here are the veteran pieces are serviceable and the rookie pieces are exciting. It's just as a unit, do you have enough to actually compete and win? I don't know. Maybe in stretches like this where it's a little bit fluky that they beat the Nuggets twice, right? To Andy's point, but they're not as terrible as they were at the beginning of the season. And Jordan Poole deserves some credit here as well. I'm not a big Poole guy, but he knows how to win in this league, and he played on a team that won a ridiculous amount of games. So anybody who knocks him for not knowing how to do it, like this isn't a John Wall situation where they were learning on the fly. He knows how to do it.
You mean argue he just has NBA TV analyst John Wall? In case nobody saw that over there.
Oh yeah,
that was not a good. That was not the best outing for our boy John. So but I appreciate that the Wizards are still playing. They're unfortunately I think they're out of the Cooper stage.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, yeah, they're not getting flagged. That's not going to happen. But based on how what's his name, Michael Winger and Dawkins, like they're experienced, right? Clippers and OKC is where they came from, right? Like they're experienced in building the roster correctly. Yeah. So and I'm not saying next season they're the next OKC, but I'm saying like if you get that one,
listen, if
that one star comes here,
well, they may have that star on the roster. That's maybe the point. It's not a hot take, but I think Alex Sarr might be that piece. Koulibaly has shown flashes. Keyshawn George he can play, and so can Bub. So like they've got some pieces here. The problem is, 2 of the 4 of those players play the same position. So you gotta round out the roster a little bit more. But
well, I mean, how this is where you guys have to fill me in. But like, how is SGA perceived when he first came into the league? Was he closer to elite right away, or was he kind of on a SAR trajectory and then just took off?
I think he was. I mean, you go, Andy. I think he was considered to be a future star.
I think he was always groomed to be.
I don't like that word.
Star. You don't like it?
I don't like groomed.
He was groomed to be a star.
Saying it. That's good.
I think the path was laid out for him, and he rose up to the level of play that he was capable of, and he became elite.
Are we not doing that with Sarr though?
Sarr is kind of forced into it, right? So the expectations I think are a little bit more. He's also younger coming in with arguably less experience, so he'll get there. I think again, 30 points against a good Nuggets team. It's promising, right? The pieces around him are growing at the same time. Like if you took this team based on how they're playing over the last 10 games and said play an entire season like this, they're a playoff team. They're like mid-pack playoff team actually, right? So is it sustainable? I don't know. And can you get by without playing any defense, which they don't play any defense? No. Like at some point,
the big man role is not what it used to be. I don't think how many elite big men are there? 1, 2,
3. Yeah, not
many, right? Like even if he does become elite, it's hard to build a team around a big man the way the NBA's played this week.
But I think at some point it will come back around. Like everything is cycles in sports, and we've been in this fun and gun Suns, Amari Stoudemire, Sean the Matrix Marion, like the three and D and the winger. Like we've been in this era for a while. Like these guys are going to retire. Like there won't be another Steph. LeBron has to let go of his kung fu grip on the league at some point. And what you're left with is a bunch of players that, like there's going to be an ugly transition in the NBA where people don't know how to play without, this style. But I think eventually you're going to get back. Like we haven't stopped making 7'6" centers or 7'2" like huge guys. They just don't play basketball anymore. I think eventually they're going to find their way back into the sport, and you're going to see it just ebbs and flows. I think you're going to see it come back a little bit towards classic basketball. I think they need to adjust the way they need to adjust the game a little bit too, right? Like for a long time you had hand checking, and then they took it away, and that opened up alley-oops and dunks and all this other stuff because players weren't getting, mauled under the, with their back to the basket. Right now you've got 3-pointers. They moved the 3-point line back. I think it's a drastic move, but something like that dumb play-in NBA tournament that they do in the middle of the season, they can use that as a proving ground for some of these, crazy air quotes, like alternative rules, right? Like ban made 3-pointers to 20 per team or 15 per team. Like they're just not worth 3 after that. You got to do something else, right? Like
I want to see a 4-point line,
right?
Make 1-point line.
Make alley-oops and dunks worth, 3.5 or 2.5 or something. I don't know. Like, get creative and crazy with these rules and just see what kind of sticks. You don't need.
You're already painting the court crazy colors. Go full NBA Jam. Have a green screen and put hotspots in. I would love to see that.
I mean, do something to make people pay attention, even if it's just a gimmick, right? But we talked about this before. You have to get people to care again. The people with the money that would pay money to go see this, us. I don't want to watch a 3-point contest on a Tuesday night at Capital One Arena.
You know where there's a bunch of big guys and centers and 7-foot players? March Madness.
I'll believe
a lot of them. Michigan has what, like 2 7-footers?
5 seniors.
Joe, what would it? Are you like? Would you start watching it like the Final Four, Elite Eight, or like only the championship game?
No. I'm least likely to watch the championship game. I will watch. I will watch all of the riffraff and the whatever like that. That's
16, 8, and 4 is probably the most entertaining.
But like, tune in on Monday night to watch this team that you don't care about play this team you don't care about.
Come on,
final score of 51-48.
Joe, a couple years back, the number 1 team in the nation, UVA, lost to a random. I don't even know what the heck the team was. A random 16 seed, McNeese or something. I don't know.
Does nothing.
Murray State or something.
Like that's funny.
Never happened before.
Exactly, but now it's happened. So the next time it happens, it'll be the second time or third time or fifth time. Right? Like there's
what
not
a take. It's never happened before, but it happened, and then the next time it happens, it'll be the next time.
Okay, like it's not that special anymore because it's happened, right? Like what doesn't happen anymore? All 4 number 1 seeds getting to the Final Four. That doesn't happen anymore, right? Chalk doesn't actually happen anymore, and I think people will say that's good that there's parity and the mid majors and the whatever. I'm fine with all that, right? But I want to see basketball. I don't want to see 3-point shooting contests, and I know that's what I'm gonna get with 80% of these March Madness games is which team shoots and makes.
If anything, I think college basketball is more true to real basketball compared to
some
the NBA.
teams, right? Because there's 1,000 D1 teams, and not all of them have a
Grand Canyon University plays great off-ball basketball.
4 senior starters on that team. They play rec ball. You know who loves rec ball? This guy. I love rec ball. Church ball.
Yeah, your Achilles is going to break just by
my
hearing
Achilles.
How do they have 4 seniors if the school was just stood up 5 minutes ago?
I think they're 10-year-old university.
There's a transfer portal.
It's like Gonzaga. It's like a private Christian university, and they just they have it's like an office building in the middle of Phoenix or Tucson or wherever they are.
Whatever.
It's like an online school with a basketball team.
It is literally an online school. Just type it in. It's literally
Strayer University Nighthawks or whatever.
I think Strayer is dead, by the way. I'm done with sports topics unless there's something else. We can go into OMC. Andy's been waiting for this all week.
OMC, baby. Let's go.
All right, let's go OMC. Movie of the week or the off-season movie club. Andy's pick, 1995's The Usual Suspects. The plot follows the interrogation of verbal Roger Kent, played by your boy Spacey, who was one of 2 survivors of a massacre and fire on a ship docked at the port of Los Angeles. Through a series of flashback and narration Verbal tells an interrogator a convoluted story of events that led him and his criminal companions to the boat and of a mysterious crime lord known as Kaiser Soze, who controlled them. Interestingly, film was shot on a $6 million budget, which is literally free by today's standards. It's even, I mean, that's literally paying them to make a movie. And the title was taken from a column in Spy magazine. I don't know if you knew this, called The Usual Suspects. Andy, were you aware that the entire movie was built based on an article on a column in Spy magazine?
The entire movie? No.
The whole movie. The movie was shown out of competition at the 95 Cannes Film Festival and then released in a few theaters after favorable reviews, rolled out to a wider release, etc., etc., etc. Let's look at ratings and then we'll jump into it. So, IMDb has it at an 8.5 out of 10. Critics have it at 87% favorable. And critics at 94%. So this is...
Critics and critics?
Sorry, critics and fans. Audiences. Audiences have it at 94%. Cast includes, obviously, the great Kevin Spacey, Benicio del Toro. We have a young Gab Bryan. We have a super young Stephen Baldwin, Chaz Palminteri, Kevin Pollak. I mean, loaded cast of who's who, 1995. So with that, I will ask the first question while FP's texting somebody. I'm going to ask you, Andy. Did you rewatch this for OMC this week?
Absolutely. Watched it last night with the wife. We had both seen it before. So we nothing was a surprise, which I think is, for first-time viewers of the movie, is what really captures them, all the surprises. But yes, rewatched it, love it. Wife loved it. I agree 100% with all the critics. And it's interesting that it was such a low-budget movie that was, just shown at like Sundance or whatever the heck you just said.
Cannes.
And then, it showed favor, and then they released it to theaters, showed more favor. They released it to a bigger audience. Like, yes. I didn't know that. That's a nice little gem of a fact right there.
Yeah, interesting film. FP, did you watch this for the first time for this, or had you seen this one before?
First time ever watching it. What's crazy is I've definitely heard the Kaiser Soze name. I think it was referenced in other movies, but it was the first time I watched that movie. You can kind of tell there was gonna be the big surprise twist, right? Like, being a movie watcher, you could just kind of know it's coming. But they carried it out really, really well. And having, like, what took me by surprise was like pulling the keywords off the big crazy wall. Like, that to me, I was like, oh, okay, like that's a good way to introduce the twist and prove how you have the twist. But and I like when they like immediately give it away right before the big reveal when he says he has the gold cigarette lighter, because that's the cigarette lighter you see at the very start of the film. So I was like, I like it. Like, it was very well executed, well carried out movie. Gustavo Fring was in it. I was surprised to see a young Esposito.
Yes. So Bryan Singer is the director of The Usual Suspects, right? And he's actually got a lot of movie credits that people don't realize. Usual Suspects in 95, and then there's a long pause. I mean, a long pause in his career. Then he resurfaces with X-Men in 2000. He does X2 in 2003. He does another X-Men as most recently as the Days of Future Past in 2014. So he kind of stays in this like Marvel cinematic universe. He does Valkyrie with Tom Cruise in 2008, Jack the Giant Slayer in 2013, X-Men First Class, like lots of just good stuff overall, right? I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a mix. But
a lot of people think he completely destroyed DC Comics. You're not a comic book guy, but
I'm not a comic book guy. I understand that a lot. He's not liked terribly, but I'm saying these movies made money, right? In the end,
made money.
They
yes.
made a ton of money,
but that's because they're comic book movies,
and that's fair. Other 1995 films that this one went up against at different festivals and obviously for awards and such: Murder in the First, GoldenEye, The Quick and the Dead, which is just ridiculous. One of my personal favorites, Desperado. I don't know if you guys have seen Desperado, but that belongs in everyone's top 5. Seven is an incredible one. Money Train, Casino, The Net, 12 Monkeys, Sahara, tons of movies, including one of the movies considered to be an all-time great, Heat. I mean, just a ridiculous list of movies in 95. And one for FP, Showgirls, also 1995. I don't know if you've ever seen that one in any of its versions or variants or ratings or whatever.
Jesse Spano from Saved by the Bell?
Yes, that's correct. That is the one. We also have Just Cause, Fair Game with Cindy Crawford, who I think is still alive, First Night with Connery. Just tons and tons and tons of really good movies.
You're missing 2 big ones.
Hit me. What am I missing?
Jumanji and Father of the Bride.
Thank you.
Big movies.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that you froze while you were saying that. That's actually perfect.
Did it not come through?
No, it did. It did. Jumanji and Father of the Bride, 2 of your favorites. I got it. 95. I want to talk about this movie in 2 different things. Lots of color. I watched it with the wife. I mistakenly said I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. I had never seen this movie from start to finish. So again, much like FP, I appreciate this about the OMC, right? You're kind of forcing me to watch some stuff that I thought I had seen, or maybe I had seen. It has been a long time. My first comment, and within 15 minutes of the movie starting, I turned to my wife. I said, "There's a lot of color on this screen. Like it's very, like, vibrant. Like there's a lot of color to the point where I was tinkering with my TV, thinking that there was something off. But just an older movie, whatever. But it was actually really great to see an older movie with like just so much color. And I don't know if you guys geek out on this stuff. I love that it filled the full frame of my TV, right? Like this wasn't like,
I noticed that actually.
It's not a 75 or an 85 or 65, whatever size your TV is. You're not actually seeing content that big. It was really cool to see like a full letterbox 4x3, like bright movie. So I'm going to stop there and I'll share some of my other comments as we kind of get through this. I don't want to just jump into ratings. I'll tell you that the 2 things that stood out to me in this, the over dramatized acting. And I understand that was part of what Singer was going for, right? But I really like it. I thought Spacey carried the movie, even though it's just an all-star cast. I think this is the movie when I watch it now, knowing all of the drama and series and everything he's done, like you can see all of that in this super young version of him. I really, really enjoyed that. But I think, and I'm trying, I don't want it to influence how I rate the movie. I wasn't surprised by anything. And I think it's more of that has more to do with the amount of movies I've watched than anything that is negative about this film. But I felt at times it was dragging, and I'm like, all right, there's going to be a twist. Like it's a flashback. It's a dream. Like something's going on. Like I didn't like 100% pin it, but I mean, I kind of figured it out. Right. And this is not to knock my wife, but she didn't make it to the end. So like, I will not, again, I'm not going to pull that into my rating when we get there, but those are the things that kind of just pop out at me. Right. I actually appreciate the over dramatization of the actors and the color. Awesome. Soundtrack was a little weak. And at times it just felt like it was dragging. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same? Like at times it was just moving a little bit too slow. Maybe that's a product of like our current media consumption.
I really liked the movie. I enjoyed the whole experience. But I'm gonna tell you, Andy, if I didn't have respect for you, it was hard to get through that movie because I was sitting there and I was like, Andy loves this movie.
And I love Andy.
I was like, there's something coming that's gonna make me go like, okay, that was a great movie. But then the whole movie, I was like, where's the something coming? It took a long time to really get once they introduced the fake lawyer guy.
Yeah.
Like once you get to that, Kobayashi. Once you get to that meat of the plot, which is like the last 25 minutes of the movie, then you're kind of drawn into it. But like all of the buildup and like the police scenes and the
And he's getting
talking to
pissed.
each other,
And he's
yeah.
getting
No,
pissed.
not at all. You guys have your opinions of the movie.
It was a great movie.
No, listen, don't
pull me
sway your
into it.
opinions of the movie just because I'm the one who picked it.
No, it's not swaying my
The
opinion.
movie-
Because you picked it, I stuck with
Yeah,
it.
the
Oh,
movie.
so you hold
Listen.
on. Was there a risk of not finishing FP?
There was a
No,
risk.
guys,
There
the
was-
movie in itself was only an hour and 30 minutes.
It
was not
felt
a
like
long movie.
3.
Oh my God. Hold on.
And immediately from
FP was about to throw a 0 as
Guys,
it didn't
no.
finish it.
No, from the beginning, the movie it did not take long to build characters. It was 15 minutes into the movie, and these are the bad guys, the usual suspects. They did a couple jobs. There was gunshots. You were immediately into the movie. I get that it was drawn out from your perspectives a little bit, but that's the whole point, right? Like Verbal talks a lot. Verbal is the guy who drags on and talks and talks and talks. And he was milking it because he was waiting to post from whatever police station he was at, right? Like the point is like it was a story that was told from Verbal's perspective, and he was telling the story from a guy who talks a lot. Like you can't knock the character because it was built into the movie. It's complex. There's a lot of layers to this movie. It's not just action immediately. It's not just, shooting. It's not a thriller. Like, I mean, it was a thriller, but it's not like Casino or like, Seven, where there's a plot and a quick, like, all right, how are we going to break out
I
this?
do like movies with a plot. I will say I would like a movie with a plot.
This movie had an excellent plot, but I
It was a
respect
good
your
movie.
opinions.
I think what was surprising me was like,
There's
like,
layers.
No, what surprised me is like it was an entertaining movie. I got through it. I enjoyed it at the end, but I was just like, I think
Hold on. You enjoyed it at the end or when it ended?
I was in enjoyment.
Okay.
After the movie, take that as you want.
All right.
But I think what surprised me was more knowing how highly rated this movie is in your own ranking of all movies that you've seen. Like you keep Usual Suspects pretty high up there, and I was just like,
it's a great movie on many levels, people.
I guess it took me so by surprise that you have it ranked so high.
FP, I will add to that. It's always on lists for people that are like movies you need to see. I know I went on this whole jag last week about Shawshank. Like I'll never watch Shawshank again in my life, right? It's a bad movie. But this is always on the list. Shawshank is on everybody. I don't know if it's just like something you're supposed to say, like, oh, Shawshank. I feel like Usual Suspects comes up pretty often, and I respect the fact that it launched so many careers, including singers, right? Like I respect that completely. I think for me, the issue is I'm seeing it almost 30 years after release.
Yeah.
And there's been so much change in movies. Like at this point in time in 95, given all the movies that I listed before it, like even just think of like the Bond franchise. It was still slapsticky and actiony, but comedy and quirky, right? Very different than what we've
very mid-90s.
Right. Very different than what we consumed for the last 20 years when it comes to Bond, most notably with Daniel Craig, who I personally say he's the best Bond. Look at Batman. Look at the series. Look at all the iterations of Batman. This is the Clooney Batman time, right? Like this is still goofy, whatever. The best Batman for me is Christian Bale, like the dark, angry Batman, right? So within that context, the movie's good. Like this is a good movie. Like
this way to put it.
This is the precursor to things like Memento and Snatch and like that whole subgenre of twisted movies. I get it from that respect. Like in that respect, like this is that cornerstone or that first one that's made, on a small budget, and there's twists along the way, whether it's the storytelling a la Memento or Snatch. I mentioned already. There's Daniel Craig before he was Bond was in a movie called Layer Cake, which is the same kind of concept where you're kind of piecing it together as you go, and there's a big twist at the end. So, like, I appreciate it for that. However, I'll never watch it again. Right? So, like,
once you know it,
Kaiser Soze, like now I know the pop culture reference to Kaiser Soze and to Kobayashi. Like, there's things here that matter 30 years later and come up in, like, Kobayashi's referenced in Suits. Harvey Specter mentions him. Like, I just saw that episode, season 2 or season 3. Like, these are pop culture references to Andy's point. Like, this This movie is very important for what it did and what it like for cinema for like the 15 years that follow it. But looking at it 30 years later, I don't know. Like time is a harsh critic.
It is what it is. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled, convincing the world it wasn't real.
Let's go into the ratings then, Andy. Where are you giving it after your rewatch? Our scale, just to reset for everybody, 0 is didn't finish it. 3 is watch it if it's on. 5 is a must watch. You're still
must watch. 5.
Will you watch it again this year?
Probably not.
Just in general. Okay. That's
fine.
I don't.
I mean, we got the movie club, right? So I'll be watching a bunch of other movies, and then I got some shows to watch. No, I mean, I probably wouldn't watch it again this year. It's it's not a movie that you're going to watch like once a month, right? No, a movie.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I still think it's a 5. It's a solid 5 in my book. It's a good thriller. It's a good story. The characters are so well executed.
Did your wife finish the movie?
Yeah, my wife finished the movie and she loved it. She thought it was a great movie.
Okay.
Me and the rest of the world think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip that and make sure that you're right, because I'm FP. Where are you coming in on this one, FP?
Oh man, are we gonna be given like a halfway point where we can like re-rank?
Sure, why not?
The first set of movies.
Guys, I gotta be honest. This is my favorite bit of the non-football season. I love movie club.
Well, I mean, you've always been a pretty big movie guy. I mean, I would give this one. I feel like right now I want to give it a 3.
Okay.
But I feel like after we go, like we haven't been suggested a shitty movie yet. So I'm thinking once like
some of the
bad
list of movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once some of the bad movie suggestions come in, maybe this 3 suddenly becomes a 3.5 or a 4 very easily.
Okay.
But right now, it's a 3, just based on the scale that we've established.
So somebody said, "I'm looking for a 90s thriller." You would say,
"Yeah, I would recommend this."
Have you seen this? If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah. Or if the conversation comes up and somebody's like, "Oh, I never saw it. Should I watch it?" I'm like, "Absolutely, you should watch it."
Okay. Will you revisit it again?
No, never again.
Never again. Okay, so you're at a 3.
But it's very hard for me to repeat movies.
Yeah, maybe this is a one and done kind of movie because once you watch the movie, like the surprise is gone, the thrill of it is gone.
Like Ocean's 13, you like big surprise the first time you watch it. Not big surprise, but like a solid surprise the first time you watch it.
Twist.
The thing that brings you into watching it over and over and over and over and over again is the really good acting and chemistry. And that cast, and I don't have the connection to the cast and Usual Suspects the way I do to Ocean's 13,
and that's fair. Like that. And I think that's fair. I actually think you'd be on an island, to be honest, with Ocean's 13 as well. It's usually regarded as the least.
Not or 13. Ocean's 11.
11, yeah. Okay. 11, I understand. 11 is also
meant.
written very well. It's very, very fast paced, which drives with me. But I hear you on that. Yeah, 13 is the one with Pacino, and it was.
No, I meant 11. Yeah.
All right, so on this one, I'm going 2.5 on this. I wouldn't sit down and watch it again. If it was on TV and I was like halfway through it, I would probably leave it on, just because the back half of the movie is good. If somebody hadn't seen it, if somebody approached me if somebody was in my position last week, had been thinking they saw it or it's been a long time, I would say you should sit down and watch it, because there's enough young actors that are getting their career kickstarted here that if you're a fan of movies, you're going to want to see this. So I am happy I sat down to watch it. I now understand where some of these pop culture references come from. It's just hard for me to it's not, obviously it's very different than the last 2 movies we watched, but like FP said, I think if depending on where we go from here, I may come back to this one and bump it to a 3 or a 3.5, especially if we end up with a whole bunch of really bad movies. But for me right now, I'm going to sit at I think I want to keep it at a 2.5. I want to stick at 2.5. So I'm glad I watched it. It's going to be a long time before I go back to it willingly. That being said, we got to pick one for next week. And the 2 that came in from folks that are here, one of them I really don't want to do, which is a Pulp Fiction. I have no desire to watch that movie again. I don't care about its cult following, anything else. So I guess we can just pick here amongst ourselves. Have you boys seen The Rock? I think that was being discussed last week. I've seen it. FP, you've seen it. Andy, you've seen it or no? Okay, so that might be a good one to visit. Have you boys seen Argo? Have you seen Argo?
Requiem for a Dream.
Well, you just picked. It's my pick now. Have you seen Argo? Have either of you seen Argo?
Not for a long time, but yeah.
Okay. Have you seen? I'm sure everyone's seen Desperado. Have you seen
American History X?
It's actually a good movie. It's not bad.
Fight Club. Fight Club.
Love Fight Club.
Let's see what else was on the list. I had Desperado on the list, but we've all seen it. I'm looking for an action classic. That's what I'm looking for.
Taxi Driver.
I haven't seen Taxi Driver.
Oh, you're missing out. Actually, no. If you guys don't like old movies, don't watch Taxi
No, I
Driver.
love old movies.
I don't mind old movies. I don't mind the old movies.
No, you guys. I feel like you guys want to watch like Marvel Endgame or something. Or
About
equivalent.
Does everyone have Max? How about a new
Yes.
movie? You have Max. Have you seen Juror number 2?
No.
It sounds very familiar. I don't know if I know the title, but maybe I know the movie.
Okay, so have you seen Boondock Saints? For sure, right?
Excellent movie.
Have you seen Ronin with De Niro, 96?
I have a fantastic
I don't
suggestion
think so.
if you want it.
Okay, hit me.
Leon the Professional.
Oh, I've never even heard of that.
Oh,
Andy?
Did he say Leon or Lean On?
Leon the Professional.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Okay, so let's put it to a vote. Leon the Professional.
Hold on, let me see if it's streamable.
Okay, Juror number 2 is a 2024 release, and it's on HBO.
I feel like it's going to be a 1.
You're just salty.
No, I'm not salty. Anything that goes like to HBO straight is like a 1.
Why all these guys produce their own movies now?
I know, and they're all pretty crappy. Like, when was the last time you saw a good Netflix movie?
I don't think I've ever seen a good Netflix movie.
No.
What is Leon the Professional? I gotta look this up. Let's see where this
Oh,
is.
dude, fantastic cast. It has the Sting soundtrack. Oh, so good.
Leon the Professional. Gene Reno.
Go into it blind.
Oldman,
Just go into
Oldman.
it blind. It's the first time you see what's her face as an actress.
I've never seen this. Plot centers on Reno, Leon, a professional hitman who reluctantly
First time you
takes
see
a
Natalie
12-year-old.
Portman as an actress. She's young Natalie Portman.
I'm open to this if you are, Andy.
The thing is, you have to. I think you have
Is it
to.
called Leon?
Leon?
Not the Professional. It's called Leon.
The whole movie is Leon the Professional, but yeah, that's referred to as Leon.
Okay, I don't see it on a platform.
I think you got to stream it.
It's like $3. It's
Yeah.
okay. I can pay $3.
The only Leon the Professional that's coming up is a movie made in 1994.
Yes.
I think that's the one.
So,
Oh, then it's called Leon.
It's called Leon, the Professional.
yes. I mean, Gary Oldman. It's just such a good movie.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
I will spend the $4 and rent it this week and watch it. I'm good with this, Andy, if you are.
I will not be spending $4 to watch this movie, but I will
Do you want me to?
highlights.
Do you want me to Venmo you?
Maybe that's the
$4?
new wrinkle is everyone pays for the movie if it's not on a platform.
I will pay for you to rent this movie. I'll Venmo you $4.
I mean, that's
Okay, what if I just come over and watch it?
You could do that.
you can do OMC in 3D, in 4D, in real life.
We'll do Bite Club and we'll FaceTime you, Joe.
Bite Club. I love Bite Club. What cookie are we eating next week?
Cookie Club.
no,
Yeah,
Bite
bring
Club.
cookies.
I
Bite
meant Chicken Club. Chicken Club.
Eat my cookies.
Bite Club is a good name. What did I eat this week?
Munch my cookie. What?
No, we do have a Bite Club.
Okay, Leon the Professional is our movie selection. Thank you, FP,
All right.
for next week. Anything else, boys? We went a solid 90. If this was a radio show, this is a 3-hour show on the radio.
Get us on the radio, then.
I'm
ready.
working on it, BB. I'm working on it. Anything you want to add, FB?
No, I'm good. Can't wait for Ovi to break that record.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up soon. Andy, anything from you, sir? Thanks for hanging out.
Nothing. But if we, I don't. This I'm not going to say we. Paul, we should get together on the game for the Islanders. If we're not going to go, let's get together and watch. Joe, are
Sure.
you in?
I mean, I'd love to watch. Yeah, anytime.
It's like
let's do it.
It's like a 7:00 game, though. Typically, it's 7:00.
That's fine. We can do I mean, if you we can do it in person. We can do a live watch party. We can do a share play. I don't care. Sure, why not?
Okay.
We can live
more
stream.
podcast to talk about it. Yeah.
We got some time. Maybe a week or two at the absolute most. Movie for next week, Leon the Professional, FP's pick. Andy, me and you, maybe we'll get a little short list together. We'll put it to the boys too and see what else they want to watch. Pressure's on, FP. You picked a good one last time. Let's see how this one goes. Lots of 90s movies here, mid 90s movies, right smack in the middle here. So
that's my era, baby. Taxi Driver. I want Taxi Driver next, but you guys won't like it. It's too slow. It's gonna drag. Blah blah blah. Taxi Driver. Robert De Niro.
No, Leon has just. It's good.
Andy, I'm not opposed to slow. I'm honestly, if to me, if OMC, it's successful if I'm watching stuff I've never watched, because I generally will go. It's saving me from having to just randomly whatever.
Yeah,
when I sit down on Friday or Saturday night.
You guys didn't hurt my feelings. I'm okay.
No, but I'm telling you, it's not once a week on average. Once a week, the wife is like, "Hey, let's watch something." Yeah, I'm watching. It's for work. I'm watching Leon the Professional. Like, you can sit with me if you want. Like, that's how it's gonna be.
You got it.
Right.
There's a lot of fragile people in our group chats. You're not one of them, Andy.
Let's do it.
Thank you, boys, for hanging out. The show is DTC. I think I'm going to slice and dice OMC and separate it out into its own feed for folks that are just following the movie reviews. They will continue next week with a review of Leon the Professional from 1994. Thank you, FP, for the suggestion. Everybody listening, you can get this show anywhere you get your podcasts. Amazon, Apple, Google, TuneIn, Spotify, wherever. Just type DTC or Defeating the Curse and the show pops right up. You can watch us live on Monday nights on YouTube, on X, on Facebook as well. Thank you for hanging out with us. Until next week, we're done. We'll see you next week. We are out.